Welcome, everyone, to Coffee and an Interview. I'm Jacqueline Pena, and I'm here again with Aditi Wardhan Singh. If you didn't catch our interview from season 1, you have to catch that, listen to it. But today we're going to talk about multicultural book writing. We're coming together to talk about this so important topic with Aditi from Raising World Children. Aditi, how are you today?
I am wonderful. How are you doing?
Good, good. I'm so excited to touch base with you again after a couple of years and talk about what you're up to, which is lots of book writing. Tell us about your author life.
Oh gosh, my author life has been booming, for the lack of better word. It has been one book after the other, and I realize now I need to slow down and spend time with my books because they are my book babies, and idea creation is and content creation is my jam. I love doing it. And I kind of get carried away sometimes, but there is so many issues I want to talk about. There are so many things that are so close to my heart, like bilingualism, identity issues, stereotyping. And I want kids to have those stories as soon as possible. So I have created these wonderful stories, and I hope that everyone thinks that help give kids and parents the confidence to live their third culture life with dignity and with respect for everyone and themselves.
Yeah, it's an amazing area that you're working in. And you've published quite a few books. You said it's booming, but how many books have you published already?
So I have 14 books done and I have four books in the works, two of which are ready. But I'm going to pace them out now because I have few other projects in the way. The number one being I have a children's book by kids coming up soon. So I'm very excited about that one because it was a very small and it's a passion project. There is no thought behind it other than encouraging kids to delve into the writing via their culture. So that I'm very excited about that.
Wow. So a book written by kids about their own experiences
Yes.
being multicultural in the US.
How they view culture. No, not about
Or
life in
how they view
US,
it.
but how they view culture. I told them to take their own culture or whatever they've experienced and give it a twist. So someone
Ah,
has written a fiction story, someone has just written about Diwali, someone has taken a mythological character and created a superhero out of it. It's fun. It's just to see how the kids' brains work.
I love it. And the imagination.
Yes,
It's
yes,
amazing. It's a great way for them to express themselves and to explore different
yes.
ideas. Very interesting. Now, you've had some books that really had a broader impact and have been used in many different places. I know you work with libraries to try to get the books out there for more people to see. Tell us a little bit about some of the other venues or ways that you've gotten your book out there, some of those big events or activities, and what you're thinking about doing to keep spreading this information out there.
So, podcast interviews are something that I'm doing a lot of these days. I have reached out to wonderful people, and like everyone's been kind enough because my newest book, actually, Sanya's New Start, was the seed of it because this is co-authored by my daughter. So she penned three books for a reflections contest. I don't know if you know that. So she penned sorry, three books. She penned three stories for the contests, and then she went up to state level with these stories. And I was like, wait a second. And there are wonderful stories about grace and forgiveness and things like that. And I was like, wait, there is something here. We can turn this into a character. We can turn this into a story. And then I pushed it hard, and we went through it, and it was great. But coming back to your question, so it's been great to see people interested in supporting us because this is something new that they're seeing that we both have co-authored it. So of course I'm doing the library events. I reach out to my local libraries and request them to do a virtual reading. I go to the local farmers market. Sometimes I host my books there. I reach out to teachers. Teachers I love, so I just give them the classroom guide for free. I don't really charge much for the virtual visits for classrooms. It's only if I do a whole school assembly where I charge. But if it's for a classroom, if a teacher reaches out and says, "Hey, I love XYZ of your book, could you read it for my class?" I'm happy to just read it because it's a quick read. My books are aimed for usually like the second to fourth grade. So it can go from kindergarten to fifth. So it's kind of a little bit of leeways there. So if they reach out, it's always fun. And I found teachers to be the most supportive. Because of course, as you know, I'm a indie publisher. That means that I don't have a big publisher backing. I have just myself reaching out and telling people, hey, you know what? I have these products, I have these books, I tell stories. Would you like to hear them? And I have wonderful people who are often gracious enough to accept and feature me or invite me. So I'm very excited about that.
That's amazing. So I want to just quickly circle back on your daughter. Sounds like we have another author in the family. I didn't want that to slip by, but it's wonderful to hear what she's doing and how far she's already getting with her writing. And talking about this, sharing stories and empowering people to tell their stories, you're working with teachers. I love that you have a classroom guidebook or for them that they can teach these stories to help them in the classroom and that you're able to meet with the students virtually. I think that's really cool as a great way of spreading this, the messages that you have in your book across a broader audience.
Yes. No, I'm very excited. Oh, I keep saying that, but I am always excited about my books. It's just wonderful uh to be able to visualize my stories. So the book cover, she designed it.
Wow.
So I will be honest, she had the germ of the stories, and then we fleshed it out together. Now, if you ask her, she says, I don't want to work with you again. We'll see later. Because, of course, she's my daughter. And I will not lie. It is a tedious process. A lot of people think, oh, we'll write a story, we'll publish it, it's done. Because of this process, she learned a lot about what I go through. And she's like, Mom, you do this for every book. It's too much. Uh, but I'm excited because she does have great ideas, and both my kids. My son's story is going to be published in that other book because he's like, I don't want to do a book with you. I'll just write something and you can edit it and do whatever you want with it. I don't want to make it into a whole thing. So I was like, okay, fine, that's fine. They both are. Interestingly good writers. They both are funny. Funny is very hard to do. If anyone's watching, if your kids are funny in writing, they have real talent because I can't do funny. It takes me a lot of thinking and a lot of work to be funny. The first round of Sanya's New Start, I remember we sent it to the beta readers, and a lot of the boys were like, "We you don't like it much," and things like that. So I was like, "Okay, so how do I get the boys in?" And then I was like, "Okay, yes, let's get a baby in and make the jokes around the baby." And then after that, all the boys, all the kids were like, oh, this is wonderful. They all were happy. Because, of course, these are stories are nothing but relatable moments. So when a sister is annoyed with a brother, these are fun moments that everyone can relate to. So yeah, so it's interesting that it's been a good journey.
Yeah, I like your children. They weren't your guinea pigs because you've been doing this for a while, but they were part of this process where you coach others
Yes.
who want to write. So you coach other writers to be
Yes.
able to get their stories out.
Yes. I uh, I basically provide services and assist other authors, aspiring authors, in creating their indie publishing brand correctly from the get go. So I work with very select few because I believe that this is a very hard thing to do, and you need to, I mean, it's an investment, and I say the money you can get back, and I say this to everyone, money you can get back, but your time and energy you cannot. So you really have to be very mindful, and when you have a mission and your why is in place, it's wonderful when you can kind of go back to that why every time you're feeling like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. So I that's why I always say I work with mission driven writers for their publishing their books. Like, so I call it a collaboration with Raising World Children, which is my brand. For those who have not yet found out, raisingworldchildren.com is an online and in print publication for multicultural living. By that I mean, if you go to the platform, you'll see there are a lot of free resources
Yes.
for parents to get information from, to get tips, actionable tips. There's always something where you can learn something. And then, of course, we have our books, which are another way for you to empower your kids.
Yeah, I did check out the website. I love the updates and all the resources that are out there. And it all Whoop, that's a storm. I don't know if you heard the thunder.
Oh, no, I shouldn't.
But there's this amazing thing you just said, and it's about knowing your mission and knowing your why. And so everything you seem to be doing is connected to that why around multicultural book writing, whether you're writing, you're empowering or coaching others to do the writing, or you're spreading that message of writing and those lessons to the teachers and the libraries.
Yes, it's that is exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to share my message. So my why has evolved. It has evolved. I have always said that first of all, when we are accepting everyone, we need to accept ourselves first. But that messaging has evolved to understanding that belonging comes from within, and that is the like while Sania's new starts is about new beginnings because she goes to a new school and she gets glasses and she makes new friends and all that. But it's also about belonging because you see her Indian life and the food and how she views things, and sometimes it's difficult to accept yourself. So two things that I have really leaned into this year is grace for myself and
Mm.
talking a lot about grace for yourself, and belonging can only come from within, no matter how much you try to fit in and how much we talk about, oh, we should be accepting of others. It won't happen till we first accept ourselves as we are, whether we fit into a box or we don't fit into a box, that's fine. So when I work with writers, I really make sure that I keep their voice and their why intact in their stories. And then we write it per the market, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So suppose an author comes to me for editing, for example, and so I do I do coach from the germ of a seed to publishing the book and marketing it. But sometimes people come for editing also. So just now I'm working with a wonderful writer, and her story was beautiful, but there were three books in one. Because often, like I said, people think I can write a story and it's okay to be published. But I was like, no, it's a wonderful problem to have where you have three stories in one. But you for a picture book, you need to bring it down to one story with a clear messaging because the age bracket is such. So those
Mhm.
are the kind of things I help them work because it's important. Yes, it's important. Indie stories don't fit into the traditional publishing world's box. But at the end of the day, you have to market to the teachers, you have to market to librarians who are kind of used to seeing stories in a certain way. So
Mhm.
it's always wonderful to have a little bit of quirk to the stories, but to tell them in a beautiful flow so that it's much more easily uh, understood and read.
Simplicity, flow, focus on one message, not
Yes.
three stories, but one, so that that message can truly get out there and people can understand the message in that story. That's great advice for any of us who write. I do some writing as well. I'm trying to really embrace the creative writing versus the non-creative, which I've been doing for years. So this advice is helpful for me. Simplicity, one
Yes,
message.
yes, it's
What is
very
your why?
important.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for
What is
sure.
yeah. So you talked about belonging too, and we're noticing, especially after COVID, that's it's a big area of concern. I've been looking at this idea of belonging for over 10 years in higher education and done a lot of research around that. But I looked at it from one perspective, and now I'm opening my eyes to just all around the world. We all have this the sense of belonging. Where are we? We don't all necessarily need to develop a deeper sense of belonging. Some of us feel pretty comfortable, but I feel that more and more people than I thought are looking for that sense of belonging and struggling to find that. How do you think stories and your books in particular might help with some of that in developing that sense of belonging?
That's an amazing question, actually. So, post COVID, one thing I've realized is that because we are striving to do a lot more for some reason, many of us. And I'm not talking about, we were discussing before the podcast began, where we are multi creatives and we recognize that. And that's a different topic altogether. But post COVID, I feel the desire to do more, be more has increased. And it's not necessarily just, and especially with inflation, I think people have that because, of course, you have to do a lot more to make a lot more kind of thing. So all of that leads to kind of loneliness in the self. So you kind of go anywhere to do anything, right? You'll go to that party where you don't really think you will fit in, and you will go to that class which you don't really think, but you are like, oh, I want to try something new. I want to travel because I think I'm supposed to want to travel. And that is why I speak about belonging and grace for self in those in together, because often, like we were discussing just before in the same conversation, is that the balance comes from understanding how much we can do and
Mm,
how much of us we can accept. And I loved when you just said that some of us are much more comfortable with ourselves than others. I think it's a lot to do with uh, how much of growth we've had, how much of self reflection we've done. And I think that's where my books help. And I hope so, because all of it has come from self reflection myself. Where when my son came and said, I'm a different skin color, I was one of the very few parents who went and found the scientific explanation for it. And I went and put it in a book. And I used to talk to my friends about it. And they were like, oh, I think that's something all kids talk about. It was never that let's find an answer for it, which helps empower our kids. When my daughter was being as even still is now teased about her height because she's much smaller for her age, uh, I wrote a book, Small or Tall, We Sparkle After All, using science as the base. It is a multicultural book, but it has science at the base. When I realized that assimilation is a big problem, because often we tend to go into our own groups,
mhm,
Indians prefer to stick around Indians, Chinese people stick around Chinese people, and no, there's nothing wrong with it. But when we're living in a different country where the multicultural part of it is a big bonus, I feel, why not? So that's why I wrote Sparkles of Joy, which was about these friends who come together and who are talking about, oh, I celebrate Diwali, and Diwali is similar to Christmas, and Christmas is similar to Hanukkah. Oh, wow, and they celebrate together. And that's my bestseller. Every year it's hitting bestseller so far, knock on wood, because teachers love that message. Librarians love that message that, oh, we should celebrate everything together. Uh, Sanya's New Starts was, of course, these lessons I learned as a young adult. My daughter had the lessons about, when someone's angry with you, sometimes they just need a little time to miss you. It's not
mhm,
like your relationship is broken. You just need some time to miss you. Saying sorry is important. So when you say sorry, it's not that you are putting yourself down, it's that you're putting the relationship up. So these are
mhm,
things that I wanted to highlight. And that how does a child learn that is when the girl's parents are like, oh, I was rude to you, I'm sorry. And a lot of parents and kids who've read that, especially the parent book reviewers, they're like, I love that where you have shown the parents saying sorry to each other, because we don't see that enough in books, especially young kids' books, where the parents are being a good example. Uh, Within, oh, I have it right here actually. Within is my book for adults. It's a collection of short stories about the evolving multicultural woman, where I have looked at the Indian culture from an outsider's perspective. So, a lot of Indian people will say that, oh, so and so was speaking their own language. It's so rude. Why do they exclude others? But hey, you speak in your own language with your people too.
yeah,
People kind of forget that. So these are the kind of things that I believe my books help with, my stories help with, where I am hoping when people are reading, they're like, I maybe I do that too, and maybe this is another way to look at it. And I think that's what stories do. I read. My favorite genre is thriller fiction,
mhm.
uh, but I learn so much through books too myself, where I'm like, wait a minute, I behave the same way sometimes. And I think stories just provide a great way to self-respect and self-reflect and find yourself in words. And I think that's what I'm helping with.
Very powerful. The stories are educational. We learn. We
Yes.
learn through that reflection and the connections and the lessons and the messaging and the story. As long as we take time to not just read it, but really process what we're reading.
That's true for every experience. I have quite a few friends, and we discuss this, and I say, and I can count on my hand. Like I know so many people, but I can count on my hand the number of people who take the time to reflect on, oh, if something went wrong, what was my role in it? Or if something is not working, what have I done to maybe offend that person because they are behaving differently?
Mm,
It's very few people who do that, to look at things from both sides. give others the benefit of doubt. And I think that's very important, especially with the world we are living in. Where I was speaking after COVID, I think the loneliness has led to a lot of stress. The doing more has led to a lot of anxiety. The fitting in has led to a lot of uh, lostness in us, where we kind of feel like, oh, maybe I don't belong here. Maybe it's not right for me. But the thing is, it will be right for you only if you think and take the time to make the circumstances right for yourself. Uh, and that's just how it is.
Mhm. The power is within us. We just need to
Yes.
figure that stuff out, give ourselves that space and the tools,
Yeah.
use the tools to be able to do that reflection and figure it out and then take action. What are we trying to really do? Very powerful stuff. So we've talked a lot about, identity, multiculturalism, the power of stories in helping us process things and teaching us things, the power in using it in the classroom because of that. We talked a lot about belongingness and who we are and just lots of amazing conversations from a fellow multi-passionate creative. And for our listeners, if you're wondering, it's when you're creative in many ways and you're passionate and skilled in more than one area. So it's not that you can't decide or you're working on 20 different kinds of things, is that your passion is set up that way. You are truly skilled and passionate about these different things, but there is a connection between them. And in this case, it's multicultural book writing is the power of words. That's the connection of a lot of the work you do, and not just multiculturalism itself and identity. And so we're both in that similar where we write and we do other things. There's coaching, there's teaching, a little bit of a nice little stew of wonderful ingredients in our lives.
Definitely. It's and it's fulfilling.
Hmm.
A lot of people feel that, oh, my balance is there's no balance in my work life. And I often tell, I was speaking with some on some other podcast, and their question was about the balance in what I do, because of course I do like five different jobs, uh, and I'm passionate about each one of them equally. Then how do I balance it with motherhood and life? And a lot of people take offense to, oh, why do you ask women these questions? And I feel the bottom line, what we all need to remember is there is no balance. It comes as a multi creative and extremely passionate person who understands themselves. It's important to know this. I have this much time, and it's okay. Today I'm prioritizing my children. Tomorrow I'll prioritize my writing. Day after tomorrow I'll prioritize my marketing, and that's absolutely fine. And this is specifically for people who are not doing a 9 to 5. Of course, advice is don't look for the balance, but be very aware of how much it takes to drain you.
Hmm.
It took me a long while to realize that I need my weekends just to not do anything, just to read and just to dance and just to spend time with my kids, so that I'm completely charged up for my Monday mornings. Just and I have my work hours. Of course, I have exceptions because I'm working for myself, but it is important to give yourself a schedule and to understand what works best for you. Are you a very early morning person, or are you a late night person? When are you the most creative? And understand what your balance looks like.
I think that's great advice. What is it that you're truly passionate about? What does your life look like? Then what does your balance look like? You need to find that for yourself and create the right structure for that. So there's no one size fits all, no one box that we can all go into. We each have our own passions and our own lives and our own priorities. So define that balance for yourself and create the space for that. I think that's beautifully said.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we've talked about a lot of things, and I just wanted to see if there was anything else you wanted to share around the work you do that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet.
Okay, so let me just go over what I do.
Like we should probably start there.
Yes. So, a little bit about me and my journey. I went from being a blogger to a freelance writer to starting Raising World Children, because I found a space in the blogosphere which was lacking, which was the challenges about multicultural life and how to build confidence in kids through that lens, particularly. because third culture life has its own set of challenges, and that led into publishing. My first book was a collection of stories that went viral, as they say these days, and people loved them. And I was like, okay, let me tie this up cohesively through my childhood. So I self reflected on my early days as a child, as a third culture child, because I'm one as well. And that led me to publishing that book. Then How Our Skin Sparkles, my picture book series started. And when two of those were in process, I had writers come to me and say, hey, you know what, can you teach us how to do what you're doing, because you're clearly so good at it. And then I was like, okay, let's figure this out. And so I started creating these programs where I would sit with them and coach them through it, and edit their books and do everything. So I provide a lot of done for you services also. So along with my 14 books so far, I've helped 200 authors, over 200 authors actually, with writing, editing, providing done for you services for social media, for any emails and whatever they've needed. But my favorite thing to do, of course, is collaborate so that I can help a writer set up their own indie brand for success, as I say. And I work with mission-driven writers, basically, who have maybe they have bilingual books in the works, maybe they have uh, mission they're working for. So I have worked with nonprofits in creating books. I have worked with, currently I'm working with a lady who's starting a brand which is about outdoor living and how Indians don't hike, and trying to introduce Indians to hiking. And her book series and her brand is going to be about uh, outdoor living and how to help kids embrace that in this world of technology. And so that's why I say I work with mission driven writers. And of course, I coach kids and I do a lot of workshops with teachers, with students. I do the author visits. But of course, my favorite thing is the book writing process. And that is why we're talking about it today.
No, and it's amazing. What year? When did you start raising world children?
2017.
Wow.
So
Been
it's been
fast
a
paced
long
journey.
journey. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over 6 years, but it's been fast paced. You've been working on a lot of different things.
Yes. Oh, yes. I have a lot of people often message me that, how do you do so much? Because we also created a collaborative book called Raising the Global Mindset. It was by 21 women around the world. So and all of those women are now my friends. And like, of course, all my writer friends, sorry, my writer clients ended up becoming my friends. And they'll always be like, oh, you're not able to do this. How do you do so much? And I'm like, because I understand and I listen to the universe. I understand what my needs are in the current moment. So, like we were supposed to speak earlier, and I was not in the right shape to do so. I give myself grace that it's okay. It's not happened now, and as long as I'm honest and authentic, I believe that people will find me, and I will keep creating what I need to create. And I do believe in complete honesty and authenticity in everything I do. uh, and I balance. Yes, the balance.
We're back to that.
Yes, it all comes back to it. But that's why I say grace for self is something I've leaned into a lot this year, because I've realized over the past 2 3 years that I'm my biggest critic. I am so hard on myself, and that comes from a mother who, even if I win an award, I'll call her up and she's like, "Don't worry, beta. Next time you'll get a bigger award." And I'll be like, "Mom, this is an award right now." So just yesterday, I was telling her, I said, "Mom, do you realize I am doing stuff? I'm doing what I love." And she's like, "Don't worry, beta. You'll keep walking on this path. You'll get success." And I'm like, "Mom, I think I am kind of successful." Trust moms to keep you grounded.
Yeah. But it's great that you work through it and you understand
Yeah.
where she's coming from and what
Yes, because
and
her ambitions are hers and mine are mine. I'm not a very ambitious person, to be honest. I just love storytelling and I love working on stories. So when a writer messaged me today, in fact, that I love the ending you suggested, I'm going to try to work on something like that. That makes my day, because I want to be able to help people create quality books. Because everyone's like, oh, what's the secret to marketing your book? What's the secret to writing? And I'm like, write good books, write quality books, make sure your book is of the highest quality, because at the end of the day, your book is going to be competing with someone who has had a traditional publisher behind them with four or five editors and illustrators and teams of people, and you are on your own. So the one thing you have to make sure is to write a high quality book and present your culture in the best way possible, even with all its quirks and stereotypes and good and bad and everything.
Yeah, I think that's important. I love there are a couple of things you touched upon because you work in so many different kind of like genres and areas. They're all connected in some way through the multicultural lens.
Yes.
But you mentioned the book with the 21 women about the mindset book. And so how did you come about that project? What is the focus of that? And how did you work with the 21 women? Is it you're all contributing to a book and the funds are used for something else? Like, how does it work on the business end?
No, it again. I call certain projects passion projects because I know that they will not make any profit. They're just because I want to create a resource for the world. So this particular book, of course, I put in much more than I got because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize that there is a resource that they need.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of me telling people that, hey, you know what, there's a book that would be useful for you. And I try to get a lot of teachers and principals and librarians to read these books because and anyone who's working with younger kids, the daycare people, just so that they understand what it is to be a multicultural child. Because often you kind of think you know, but you don't know, if you know
Mhm.
what I mean. So if you see raisingworldchildren.com, you'll see a lot of articles by people. So this Raising the Global Mindset was uh, is an extension of it in print. So the idea was to create more of those books. The next book was supposed to be Raising the Social Mindset, but again, that's also gone on the back burner. I had a lot of people signed up to write that book, and just because it's such a social mindset is per social media and friendships and relationships through the third culture lens. But unfortunately, with a lot of things going on, I couldn't complete that project. In fact, we didn't even get off the ground because it's a lot of work. Every book for me takes 2 years. And then by then, I was working with a lot of other authors, so it kind of became a lot. So that's where the balance came, where my heart hurts every time I think about letting go of it. I've not let go of it; it's just on the back burner.
It's on the
Uh,
to-do list. The to-do
yes,
list.
it's on my to-do list. But since these are passion projects, I need funds to fund them, and that comes only from writing books. So it's like a very vicious circle. So
Uh,
so that's why I was like, okay, I had a lot of parents reach out to me over earlier this year. So I was okay, let me just do this with the kids first. And that and the social mindset thing was happening together. But then the kids thing I had a lot more interest. So I was like, okay, fine, let's just focus on this. You
mhm.
have to let go of something. I let go of my own books also. Actually, I was supposed to publish 2 books, and I was like, no, I'm going to take time because I really felt like I keep saying again and again on this conversation that we don't have a huge backing. So the universe, I felt, and this sounds very hokey pokey or I don't know what, but I felt the need to create a catalog with all the books possible that I could reach out to. So I'm creating a catalog, a holiday catalog for authors, sorry, for anyone who's interested in books that puts together multicultural books. So so we are working on that. Again, that's just like a no profit. I mean, there's no profit. No one's doing it. It's a volunteer thing. I'm just doing it because people need their voices heard. And since I have a platform that is a little bit ahead of others, I thought this was something that I would rather put my energy into in lifting others' voices. So I lean into that. So that and the kids' book is what's come happening next.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing project that you're always focused on your why and you balance on, of course we have to survive
Yes.
financially. What are the things that I really want to do that will also generate some income, but what are some of the things that I really want to do that won't but will be empowering to others, and
Yes.
then balancing that off so you're able to do both. For anyone out there, we always say, oh, this year I'm going to do these 7 things, and then it hurts so much when we realize we're not going to do 2, 3, or 4 of those things because we replace it with something else. We're going to focus something else, or something takes more time. And instead, I like how you're strategic about it and you're honest. And you say, okay, I really wanted to do this now, but I can't because I need to focus on these other 2 things. So I'm going to just put it here, park
Yeah.
it. and there will be a time when I can come back to that. And I struggle with that process. I'm learning to do that a little bit more now.
Yeah.
But it's tricky. It's a hard one.
No, it is hard because the fact of the matter is, again, coming back to the multi-creative aspect, is that we are extremely passionate about what we want to do. There is it's either 0 or 100, but sometimes between this, if you want to do something, you want to do it well also. So if you
Hmm.
are not going to be able to do it well, there's really no point in putting your time in. And like I said, money you can always get back, but time and energy you cannot. And uh, I unfortunately have not been in the best of health in the past 6 months. So I had to really pull down on the number of hours I was putting. Then I went to India for 1.5 months to spend time with family for X number of reasons. So I just had to let go of a couple of things. And again, I'm not beating myself up, but that doesn't mean I'm not sad about it, because I would love for, I think there's no more important time than to have a resource like raising the social mindset out there, so that parents and adults are more aware of what they're doing with social media and the gadgets and the use, because it's gotten completely out of hand, especially with AI back into the picture.
Hmm.
I would have loved to my Diwali bilingual book to be out. It was supposed to be out in September, but I'm taking a pause and I'm like, okay, fine, it's fine. It's okay.
That's okay.
It's okay. Work smart, not hard.
I love that. That's great advice. Work
Yes.
smart, not hard.
Yes.
Pick the right things. Learn to balance however you
Yeah.
decide
Yeah.
to define that.
And I think post COVID, to be honest, like, I don't know if you agree with this, but I feel a lot of our healths have taken a quite a kicking, whether we are very aware of it or not. And so, like, I find myself getting sick very often. My family also, we have weird aches and pains happening, and there's no solution for it. And sometimes you're just like, okay, I just can't function. Like, last week I had something going on, and with the pain, I couldn't think. I would get nauseous because of the pain. I was like, if I can't think, and it was making me so sad. I'm like, I need to submit this, but I can't think because I can't think of anything beyond this pain right now. So, and that's just something that you have to live with and find out. Like I say, find what your balance looks like for you. So,
Hmm. I think we started the conversation about multicultural book writing, and through that conversation, we've just learned so many lessons from you. I know I have. So for listeners, I've been reminded to go back to my mission and my why, make sure it's still true, and that use it as the light to guide me when I'm making decisions now. We learned about belongingness and identity, and the work that you do, Aditi, in terms of helping with belongingness and reflecting on a lot of these questions and things that we struggle with. So how do we take that time for ourselves and look at belonging and make the decisions to be able to feel that sense of belonging? I love the power of words, whether you're an author or not. Listeners, words are powerful, whether you're reading them through books and using that for reflection, or you're putting your story out there. And maybe that story that empowers others if you put it out there for them to read it as well. Just so many lessons that we've covered today, defining balance. What does that mean for you? Prioritizing, all while talking about the power of multicultural book writing and the work that Didi that you do for your readers, but also for other writers and for teachers. It's been quite a journey these last few years. It's impressive. So thank you for
thank
sharing
you.
that with us.
Thank you. I'm sorry I went off tangent a bit over there, but I think, like I said, I do believe in being authentic. And I think that the more I share, because often we don't share. Today, only morning, I was seeing someone say that she's a multicultural author myself, someone I've assisted with. And she had written about how difficult it is to see other people succeed and you are not succeeding. And it can be difficult where other people are churning out content and churning out books and you are not. And again, it comes back to the fact that I think belongingness ties up there also, that you need to believe that you are doing the best you can. And this story or this moment or this product or this book belongs to you. And at one point, it'll be out there in the world. And just believe in yourself and give yourself time and have patience, because it takes time to figure out things. That's what I love telling my clients when we're working, is that I don't give you any magic formula. I never claim to. Yes, I do have a knack for storytelling. I do have I think. a unique insight into the multicultural storytelling aspect. But what I do mostly is to streamline your work, is to make it step by step process. Because sometimes, just like kids, it would be great to save time and have us tell what we need to do next. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, great tip for writers as well. I'm working on a draft now of a creative, fictional book, not a
Mhm.
non-creative research
Yay.
book, but now going into the fictional side. And it's hard. It's like giving birth to triplets. It's
Oof. Yes.
but your advice has been very helpful, and I'm glad I have a process in place. I didn't have a process before.
Yeah.
So in other projects, I wasn't as successful as getting to the finish line. I feel at this time I will be successful. So definitely to authors out there listening to this interview or aspiring authors, you have that book inside of you, and you just dying to get it out on paper. I think you got a lot of great advice today from someone who has published 14 books, has helped over 200 authors with their own writing. Some great advice today on how to get your project and move it forward and focusing on your mission, your why, your balance, and having your process in place.
And if anyone needs a outline of publication, it is available on the website raisingworldchildren.com under services. So please feel free to go and grab it.
Thank you. So you heard that raisingworldchildren.com. You'll have links to other resources and to the website in the description for this episode. So you could click on it or just copy and paste into your browser. And as always, we're always here. You have the resources, but you can always reach out at info@coffeeataninterview.com and we can connect you with resources and guests as well. Aditi, thank you so much for joining us today and having this
So,
wonderful conversation. I appreciate it.
thank you for having me. It's always wonderful to talk to you, and I'm so glad to see your podcast is reaching new heights. And I wish you nothing but the best.
Oh, thank you so much. As another multi-passionate creative who writes and has the podcast, I appreciate it. And to our listeners, thank you for listening to this episode. And there are plenty of more episodes for you at coffeeandaninterview.com.